The new boss cut brakes and called the old guys lazy. By Friday night, one of his presses went up in smoke. A sharp pop, a flash, the floor filling with that burnt plastic smell everyone knows means trouble. He walked in with shiny boots and a clipboard, the kind you hold when you've never lifted anything heavier than it. Name's Tyler, 28, fresh degree. Thought the machines would listen like people do on PowerPoint slides. Luis watched him the way you watch a loose wire. Not dangerous yet, but getting there. He'd been on this line longer than half the crew had been alive. His body knew the rhythm, when to feed, when to cool, when to wait. Tyler didn't wait. By the second week, he'd changed the schedule, trimmed the brakes, and told everyone production doesn't rest. You could hear it in his tone, that mix of fake motivation and quiet threat. The younger guys started matching his speed, chasing his approval. Luis didn't. He just kept steady. His steadiness irritated Tyler more than mistakes ever did. One afternoon, Tyler stopped the line in front of everyone. "This isn't a retirement home. Mendoza," he said loud enough for the whole floor. "If you can't keep up, maybe it's time to find somewhere slower." Laughter rolled down the aisle like loose bearings. Then silence. Luis didn't look up. He wiped his gloves, checked the gauge, and pressed start again. The machine hissed back to life. Tyler's smirk hung in the air a second too long, like he expected a reaction that never came. That somehow made it worse. After the shift, Luis sat in his car with the engine off. The dashboard light flickered red, low fuel. He didn't move. Outside, the plant lights buzzed against the dark like tired insects. He thought about saying something to HR, then laughed once, quietly. HR had lunch with Tyler every Thursday. The next morning, Tyler's voice echoed over the intercom again. Louder, sharper, pushing the same rhythm. Faster, faster, faster. Luis turned a wrench, slow and precise. Every click felt measured. He wasn't angry, just waiting. And that's when the first hiss came from the number 3 press. Short, metallic, wrong. He heard it. Tyler didn't. The hiss turned into a steady whine. Not loud enough to stop the line, just the kind of sound you feel in your teeth. Luis checked the gauge again. The needle twitched past the limit and came back. He looked at Tyler, who was too busy talking numbers with the shift lead. "Pressure's climbing," Luis said. No response. He said it again, louder this time. Tyler waved a hand, didn't even turn around. By lunch, the floor ran hotter. The air burned faintly sweet, plastic and metal mixing in your throat. The younger guys kept pace, pretending not to smell it. Luis wiped his neck, eyes on the line, a small shudder through the steel like it was warning him. At home, the TV was on low. Still the same. He nodded. "Worse. You'll outlast him," she said, small smile. "You always do." He didn't answer. The fridge hummed. Same tone, same rhythm. The next day, Tyler showed up early, bragging about record numbers. He slapped the production chart on the board and said, "See? Old methods don't win modern races." Luis looked at the chart, then at the temperature logs. All red lines creeping higher. He didn't say a thing. By Thursday, word spread that management was reviewing cost efficiency. A couple of the older workers started packing up small things, mugs, gloves, photos. Luis didn't. He'd been through this before. But something in the air felt final this time, like the floor itself was waiting for someone to crack. That night, the hiss came back, sharper. A metallic pop followed, just enough to make a few heads turn. Tyler shouted, "Keep it moving." Luis stepped closer to the control panel, hands still, eyes on the gauges. The red light blinked once, then twice. He didn't reach for the switch. He just watched it glow, small, steady, patient. By Friday, the air in the plant felt thick, almost wet. The vents couldn't keep up with the heat. Everyone moved slower, except Tyler. He kept shouting for speed, like noise could cool the machines. Luis clocked in, tied his apron, and walked the same slow path down the aisle. He didn't look at Tyler. Didn't have to. The younger man's voice carried everywhere, clipped, impatient, pretending to sound in control. When the first press jolted again, Luis heard it. A short, dull pop, the kind that meant metal was bending wrong. He checked the gauge. The needles shivered in the red. Tyler stood 10 feet away, bragging to a manager about output numbers. Luis called his name once, quiet. Then again, louder. Nothing. He looked at the switch. His fingers hovered for half a second, reflex more than thought. Then he pulled his hand back. Slowly. That was the moment. The line hummed louder, as if it noticed too. The others started whispering. One of the younger guys asked, "You think it's safe?" Tyler shot him a look sharp enough to kill the question. "You do your job, I'll do mine." Luis turned away, wiped his gloves clean even though they weren't dirty. Every sound now felt amplified. The rattle of chains, the echo of boots, the strained hum of overheated steel. The air smelled like warning. In the break room, later, no one talked much. Tyler was pacing, phone in hand, pretending not to limp. Luis sat at the far table, stirring coffee he didn't drink. A few workers kept glancing at him, not for help, just for confirmation, like they needed someone else to see what was coming. When the whistle blew for the night shift, Luis stood. He moved slow, careful, as though every step had weight. The hum of the floor came through the walls like a heartbeat, uneven and tired. He tightened his gloves, looked at the darkened hallway, and whispered to no one, "Let him run it." That was it, the quiet line he'd crossed without moving. The floor sounded calm again. Machines steady, lights even. For a second, it felt like the danger had passed. Night shift, radio static, footsteps, the hum of machines that should have been asleep by now. Tyler ran the board himself, sleeves rolled up, voice cutting through the noise. Push the cycle. 10 more minutes. No one answered. Luis checked the number 3 press. The casing trembled. Wrong. He felt it through his boots. "Pressure's high again," he said, calm, almost polite. "I got it." Tyler snapped, not even looking up. Luis stood back, watching the younger man twist a valve he shouldn't. The hiss returned, longer this time, higher pitched. The smell hit next, that burnt sugar sting that meant plastic was cooking from the inside. Someone yelled, "It's smoking." Tyler turned, face pale in the red light. "Shut it down." Luis didn't move. He waited. Tyler lunged for the lever, grabbed the wrong one. The conveyor froze mid-feed, molten resin backing up into the press. A cracking sound tore through the room, followed by a pop, like a gun misfired in metal. Alarm screamed. Steam poured out, glowing under the fluorescence. Everyone froze except Luis. He stepped backward once, just enough to stay clear. Tyler slipped on the slick floor, tried to pull the emergency stop, burned his arm on the panel edge. "Help me," he shouted, voice breaking. Luis didn't answer. He watched the smoke rise, steady and gray, curling toward the ceiling. Then he said, quiet but clear, "You're faster. Fix it." For a second, the whole floor went silent. Even the alarms seemed to hesitate. Then the plant manager burst in, yelling, "What the hell happened here?" Luis turned toward him, eyes calm. 2 steps forward, 2 buttons pressed, the line died with a mechanical sigh. The noise collapsed into quiet, just the soft crackle of cooling plastic. Tyler sat on the floor, breathing hard, sleeves stuck to his arm. Luis looked at him once, not cruelly, not kindly. Just a man seeing what was already decided. The red warning light kept flashing over them, slow and steady, like a heartbeat that refused to quit. When the noise finally stopped, no one moved. The air hung thick with burnt resin and fear. You could hear small things again, a wrench rolling, boots scraping, someone coughing into their sleeve. The plant manager shouted orders that went nowhere. Ventilate the floor. Kill the alarms. Tyler still sat by the console, arm wrapped in a towel that used to be white. His face looked young again, like the noise had peeled the years off him. Luis stood by the wall, silent. He didn't look at anyone. The red light blinked slower now, fading to a tired rhythm. The line was dead, the numbers frozen mid-shift. An hour later, the safety team arrived. Clipboards, flashlights, questions. Tyler blamed a faulty valve. Luis just signed his name on the incident form. Operator response. One inspector asked. Luis wrote 2 words. Procedure followed. Nobody said otherwise. By morning, the story had already spread. How the supervisor panicked, how the old men shut it down, how his calm probably saved them all. Nobody said it out loud, but the laughter stopped. The nickname, too. Monday came quiet. Tyler showed up late, arm bandaged, voice small. He didn't look at Luis. The others did, though, just a nod here, a longer pause there. Not gratitude exactly. Something steadier. In the break room, Luis poured coffee, black, no sugar. Tyler filled out another report at the next table, writing slow with his left hand. Their eyes met once. No words. When Luis stood to leave, he adjusted his gloves, same way as always. You were right about one thing, he said. I am slow. Tyler didn't answer. Luis added, quieter. That's why it still works. He walked back to the floor. The machines waited, quiet, balanced, ready. He pressed start. The hum came back, low and even. The red light blinked once, then held, steady, like a breath finally caught. Outside, the sky was the same gray as always. Inside, the line ran slower. Nobody complained. The sound of it, steady, patient, stayed. Somewhere in it, he heard what silence really costs.